Hello, hello. It is another beautiful Onpassive day, and I send blessings upon blessings to you and to your family. My name is Jeffrey, and today is a good day to paint a big picture using very broad strokes of a strategy that may not be totally apparent to some people right now. A strategy of providing just enough information to draw in some real visionaries to Onpassive. So my intent, in flight terms anyway, is to provide a view or an overview of Onpassive's Humanitarian founder from a cruising altitude of about 30,000 feet. But I gotta warn you, there's also a song by Third Day that I sing at the end of this video. It was recorded on my laptop, and I use it because it reminds me of all the things that I want to do with founder financing. So, getting started. If you are an entrepreneur that has seen this opportunity without joining because you're still looking to lay eyeballs on the products, don't worry, there's hope. You just haven't seen the vision yet. I'm hoping we can do something with this particular video because tunnel vision's kind of like not being able to see the forest because of all the trees getting in the way. Of course, some of that's because we weren't sharing a whole lot of information, and I think that everybody felt the impact of that decision some time ago to keep Onpassive's products arsenal out of full view. But that's been changing over the past few months. We're showing glimpses across several media sites, not to mention all the founders are able to talk a little bit more about what we have, so folks can get a good idea about what's coming. Our social media sites are listed below in the description box. The privacy that was implemented, the not sharing the information as fully as some people would have liked, was simply because Onpassive knows marketing and we also know competition. We're a business model that's perfectly unique with our own unique tech. So as our launch grows closer, we're going to be able to open up the media throttle, which is going to culminate in a full-blown planetary media blitz, which the world has never seen the likes of before, and it's going to be inescapable. If there's a billboard, we're going to be on it, and if anything can get a signal, man, we're going to reach it. But we're not strutting our stuff in full plumage just yet. That's because we're not exactly 100% ready, and things are still needing to have some further testing, but it's close. Once ready, it'll all be made visible. For those who have stepped out in faith, the ones that have looked a little deeper and looked at us a little closer, it's going to pay off in spades, all right? And I sincerely hope that this applies to you by the end of this video. But if you're still in a transaction-style mentality that dictates a give me, show me, or a this for that kind of an attitude, then you're going to miss the boat. And don't think for a minute this wasn't planned from day one. The strategy has always been to attract visionary leaders that provide imagination and creative energy for growth. To do that, we want them to be able to apply visionary skills and passion to the Onpassive use of their imagination. So, to attract the kind of leaders that, by their very nature, become co-creators with Onpassive to drive its future, the information was kept scarce and simple. It was kept close to the vest, so to speak, and that enabled a beautiful exclusivity because only those with heart and a passion for our vision join. We don't need any more founders, incidentally. Haven't needed them for a long time now. But we do have a heart still for those that can see the vision, so while we wait for final touches to be applied to this phase, we keep the founder opportunity open because visionary leaders make us stronger. But we're not pushing anybody. If you don't see it, you don't see it. We're good with that. But if you do see it and join, you're really going to enjoy the journey with us. And trust me, it is a journey whose destination is total freedom with an objective of lifting the human condition. So let's talk a little about sharing and who we really are. I know you, like me, must have experienced some type of failure in your life. It's all a part of the polarity thing that I bring up from time to time, and because of that, we're able to more fully enjoy the humanitarian aspect of who we are. This is because that aspect allows us as member leaders to extend and imprint our values onto humanity, and that makes our success all the more meaningful. It is a good way for us to get moving in life, to become unstuck, and to do the things that we like to do. That's why we have the give back aspect of the Onpassive. Typically, for those that are looking for a life solution for health and safety for everybody, it allows us to give whatever we want to any cause that we want. And this is going to be possible because as founders, we'll be privileged enough to attain a very nice, very lavish lifestyle, and equally privileged to be able to offer solutions for those less fortunate. But as Mr. Mufara often says, quote, you cannot give what you do not have, unquote. So we have to fill our own tanks first and then seek out others to help. And I'll tell you, being AI and IT is phenomenal. But one of the most unique qualities that we exhibit as a company is heart. And to have heart means that we're particularly empathic, compassionate, and loving. And that means that everything we do revolves around our love for each other and our desire for the well-being of humanity. It's having that element deeply integrated into our purpose that will allow us to touch the lives more and more that we want to, because we create emotional bonds, and those bonds create passion for motivation, and motivation creates action for serving others. That's why we're going to be the greatest company ever, and that's why our success and legacy will be very rewarding and extravagantly fulfilling. So, what about the launch? Well, right out of the gate, you got to know that our launch is a journey, and we should be enjoying the process, not just the singular milestones like signing leases and creating products and such. Just like NASA and SpaceX have launch sequences for their rockets, businesses have launch sequences as well. ONPASSIVE's launch sequence began when Mr. Mufara spoke with some marketers a while back and signed up our first founder. The sequence has continued with initial products, the go-founders, budget adjustments, hiring staff, leasing space, products becoming a suite, growing budgets, office in Bangalore, more founders, revamping go-founders, a smart business solution, hiring more developers, more founders, the total internet solution, the digital ecosystem, the office in high-tech city, 50 departments, and a lot of stand-alone businesses. You get the point, right? It's a journey, and the next T-minus event is going to be the soft launch. So, if you've got to know how ONPASSIVE is, well, we're well organized and we've already prepared for success in multiple sectors and in many fields. The next phase that we're going into is the soft launch, which is part of the launch sequence. Think of it like a booster rocket that's going to carry us out of pre-launch and into the hard launch. And just like a rocket launching is the beginning of the journey for the rocket, that's the real beginning of our journey too. We're headed for the summit, to the highest point we can reach. And you should know that we've also got other boosters. These are incrementally planned rollout events marking the phases in ONPASSIVE's launch sequence. It's a perfectly planned event, and you can believe that launching ONPASSIVE is going to be historic and not at all likely to be repeated anytime soon. You should also know by now that ONPASSIVE's technology foundations hold a twofold purpose, and it's to provide total freedom for its members and to lift humanity. The tech does this in a couple of different ways. The first is through automation, which gives the time freedom back to its members and is brought about by the first three elements of CAPMO, the complete digital solution, automation, and traffic. The second thing is to provide financial freedom in the form of residual income brought about by the last element of CAPMO, the money. As you know, we can have time without money, but it doesn't mean we have freedom. And we can have money without time to enjoy it, so the freedom's not there either. ONPASSIVE, through the elements of CAPMO, provide time and money, which translates very nicely into what Mr. Mufara calls, quote, total freedom, unquote. Hence the phrase, CAPMO equals TF. But it all takes leadership. Lucky for us, leadership's got the innate quality of allowing inspiration of others. In the very successful cases, it continues through time, through generations. And this is going to be happening with ONPASSIVE. We've confidently replicated our dreams, which are our attitude, our personalities, and humanitarian aspects of ONPASSIVE within our leaders and individual members. And these leaders are leading. Consequently, we're ahead of our market. We have to be. This means that the tech that we've developed is going to be constantly redeveloped and updated. The old adage of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, just keeps perpetuating the status quo. Our perception leads us to believe it works just fine and lulls us into a complacency. But there's always a better way to do something, and we get there through change. And if we don't change, we don't grow. Change is life. And if we ain't changing, we're dying. So at OnPassive, we're always changing, always looking ahead. So much so that we're currently several years ahead of the market, but it's not practical to think that our tech, as it stands now, will be ahead of the curve in 10 years. So we're continually looking for all sorts of things, lining up the next set of applications based on what we can foresee as fulfilling life's needs. OnPassive's idea board is always full, and some of these have gone to the drawing board, yet others gone to early stage development. Things I think that we're liable to see OnPassive include in the not too distant future are things like augmented and virtual reality, medical and space related products, cloud computing, data centers, and a whole ton of other cool tech. But you can also look forward to investments in various sectors, fields, and even niches, as well as developing our own physical products like, smart devices and inventions. Yeah, did you know Mr. Mufareh is an inventor? He is. Anyway, in all cases, we're going to continue to stack the cool by piling up the value. So right now, we've got a digital ecosystem that's loaded with automated tech products that are going to simplify our lives with time and financial freedom. The imminent soft launch is leading to more phases. Okay, after we roll out the next phase, which is going to be the hard launch, it's like being at the advanced base camp on Mount Everest. You got that, right? Launching publicly is only a start to our journey to the summit. We said as much earlier. There is no ceiling for OnPassive, no limit. If we say the sky is the limit, then it begs the question, what's beyond the sky? I like what Mr. Mufareh said. Quote, once we reach the top, what do? We invent a new top, unquote. And that's what we're doing. Mr. Mufareh, the development teams, the founders, future members, we're looking past the sky and continually focusing on what matters for laying out the next generation of products to stay connected, to continue advancing as humans, and we can all help ignite passion and creativity by asking, what about this or what about that? Can we develop this for my country, or can we develop this to assist with my parents' mobility? What about this concept or that concept? That's the founder humanitarian part, asking any of a million questions that spark the infinite creative process to keep us forever fueling an evolutionary process for the good of humanity. And I call it vision casting. That is why we are so special, because the founders and the members of OnPassive are crowdsourced co-creators limited only by heart-powered imagination. And at every step, we're destined to perpetuate a legacy that we can all be proud of and that we'll all use to inspire for generations. Our leaders inspire each other to raise the bar. Holy camole, just look at the advancements and the achievements of the Leadership Council. Through this, we offer each of us a form of accountability by constantly looking at possible trajectories and asking, what if? And that's for the good of OnPassive and the good of mankind. You remember Ali North's lawyer back in the, 90s with the Iran-Contra affair? I remember watching some of the courtroom scenes during that trial when that lawyer said, quote, I'm not a potted plant, unquote. The implication here was he was well aware that he had a job to do and he took it seriously. OnPassive's founders and customers, its leaders, they've got a job to do too. That means applying passion to our business in whatever form that takes. Without the steady pressure of evaluation or constructive critiquing, the development process can have a drag, could even be lacking. In Mr. Mufareh's words, it can be rather, quote, tasteless, unquote. Those pressurized evaluations, suggestions, and critiques, fueled by passion, are what gives an internal accountability toward what we can do to develop next-gen products as we open a broader path to growth and success while operating within the vision. As a trade-off, so to speak, for the vision and inspiration, and because of our trust, founders provide their time and support to broaden that vision. In return, because OnPassive values us, founders get exceptional features and recognition now and in the long term in various ways like exclusive bonuses, clubs, travel, etc. that aren't accessible by or provided to the public at large, much like what has been started with the GoFounders platform. Moving forward, though, no one else is going to have access to what's happening at the core of OnPassive or access to the Leadership Council or anything else. Only founders. Only founders have the ability to pre-build their business, their network, their net worth, and only the founder is going to be privy to understanding the massive OnPassive vision. Of course, This brings us back to creating the scene from the unseen, because everything starts with the vision and leads back to the vision. The mental image of our intent or our desired outcome is what kickstarts that creation process. A unique characteristic of founders as a whole is having the ability to recognize Mr. Mufara's vision and cultivate it. As a result, founders keep things on track with much needed energy, direction, and focus. And incidentally, we've got emotion. Emotion is energy in motion. So all of these things are the accountability that we talked about a little bit ago. In this, founders reflect the above average quality of Onpassive. And Onpassive has brought us along for the journey. We're included with locked arms in the product creation and improvement process based on the customer experience from 50 departments, right? Which are only going to grow because we don't play the marketing games called price increase and upsell. We play fair and flat rate. After we launch, there's never ever going to be another opportunity to get the founder position at any cost. We're being provided every opportunity to pre-build our network and our net worth and to expedite our goal-reaching process right now. And it doesn't matter when we came in. As founders, we are in the best possible position. And if you haven't joined with us, you can be in that position too. Start checking out the Onpassive social media sites. The links are in the description box below. If you've been invited already, please reply to that founder that invited you. If you weren't, then please click a team link in the description box below and join with us right now. I really hope that you take decisive control of your future by doing that. But whatever you decide, we wish blessing upon blessing for you and your entire family.